Hey guys, welcome to the show. Arm&Gun here. Today with the Tavor TAR-21, my personal gun, and we're going to talk about accessorizing this thing. Again, as my personal gun, I've spent some time kind of fine-tuning this. This is just the gun I take out and shoot kind of the most. It would be a truck gun if I was going to run a truck gun type thing. So I've kind of decked it out and dealt with a lot of the original ergonomics that I didn't like so much. And let's go through that one by one, starting with the butt of the gun. And man, let me tell you, so first of all, I kept all my spare parts in this little Ziploc bag so that I just, if I ever was going to sell this gun, which is kind of a joke because it's freaking awesome, and I would never sell it. I wouldn't even sell this thing for an X95 because I do prefer this gun over the newer and so-called improved X95, unless I get a shorty with a cool rounded grip. You know what I'm talking about? Those things are sweet. But nonetheless, I kept all the factory parts because also, as time goes on, usually all the aftermarket stuff starts to look dumb and people just want the original military configuration of the rifle back. So it's always good to keep your parts, especially given this is a military, heritage rifle. Obviously, this is a commercial model for civilians, semi-automatic only, but nonetheless, you want to keep those parts. So I've kept my factory buttstock, and I can demonstrate to you how clunky it is. It's this weird tapered down, thing right here. This is where it sits on here, and it makes the gun longer. I mean, they've curved this out so that you keep your overall length for laws where that matters. But it's just chunky, and this thing just flat squared off against your shoulder. Really unpleasant. Whereas this nice curve right here, this is made by NATO Arms, by the way. This guy, ooh, she's great. World of difference when I threw this thing on here. Just a world of difference of comfort. Honestly, I loved it. And that's been definitely a go-to. Under $100, I would recommend grabbing one of these. Let's prove the gun clear, because, why not? So we're good to go there. Now, a lot of guys complain about the mag release. There's no really change for that. I honestly like the mag release here, but that's just another story. So next up is this bipod called the Podium Bipod, made by Fab Defense. Yes, it is that cool. I think it's pretty neat. For a Tavor, for this weapon system, a bullpup, I think that's by far your best option, right? Because if you mount something up here, it's getting in the way of what you got going on up here, and folding it one way or another, it's going to be kind of chunky and awkward. And this just gets it out of the way. It still has plenty of room to clear for, something more traditional, like a magazine that's maybe a 30 rounder, like this, right? You still have plenty of room to tip up, pop out your mag, do things like that. Not that this is any kind of a precision gun. 3 to 4 MOA, this thing is meant for getting in and out of vehicles and, urban warfare. So it's really, use for a podium or a bipod is kind of debatable, but nonetheless, I like it, and I think it looks cool. I just like having it there. Again, if you ever dip down, the gun is pretty, practically accurate up to 300 yards or so. So still, it can be nice, especially if you're running something like just a red dot sight, something that's not magnified like this ACOG. It would be nice to have a bit more, stability if you're just doing that. So I would recommend this, if nothing else. Again, they're really cheap, super lightweight. You really don't even notice that it's there. So I would say go ahead and grab that if you choose. Factory handguard was this guy right here. Honestly, it's cool. It's comfortable, but you got no rail space. You can add a rail down here, a factory rail. I just don't, I didn't go that route. I think I actually have this rail too, though, but I didn't mount it really, because then it's really kind of not nice to grip. And my buddy RPM Tool actually made a set of handguards for this thing. He's got a short style and a long style. I have both. Unfortunately, they're both in key mod, which again, I got these rails a few years ago, and they've since fallen out of favor with the gun-owning public. And he also made M-LOK versions, but they were quite expensive, and I went key mod back in the day, and well, that was my mistake. Anyways, still a fantastic, 70 grade aluminum. Just he does a credible job with these things. He also makes handguards similar style for the ACR, so that's also an option for you guys. I mounted a Fortis, vertical grip up here, which I really like. Direct to key mod, keeps everything really nice and low profile, nice and flush. So that is cool there. And then up front here, I have a AAC Breakout Compensator 2.0. It doesn't really need a compensator. This gun is pretty soft shooting. It's actually not super soft shooting for a 223. It's an external piston gun, non-gas adjustable, so therefore it's over gas to be reliable. And again, the gun was designed to be ultra reliable. by the IDF. So it is overgassed. You do feel that carrier bottoming out when you shoot, especially with 5.56 ammo. Higher pressure ammo translates to faster carrier speeds, which translates to a little bit more perceived recoil. So I wouldn't mind, actually, you know, something. This is a light compensator slash flash hider, and then a blast out, just because, I don't know, it was kind of cool, and they're designed to chuck that blast forward. Mine kind of fell apart here. This is a stupid design. I don't like it. I have two of these things, and they've both experienced the same problem. This one I didn't catch soon enough, and the little pin fell out, which this little ratcheting latch connects to, and yeah, it's gone. So thanks for nothing, AAC. Just kidding. You guys are great. I just don't like that. The gun is readily set up for right or left hand. You can swap the cocking handle over. You can swap this side over there. This is a neat accessory rail, which is, you know, it's plastic. It's kind of mounted to a flexible piece on the receiver. So I wouldn't, or the chassis of the gun. I wouldn't recommend putting anything that like really requires a high degree of accuracy on there. If you're going to use a LAM or anything like that, I would use a pure laser aiming module. But flashlights, you know, IR flood things, just, yeah, that's great for this thing right here, where you're just blasting out, you know, light anyways. So that would be a good spot for this. A little awkward to reach, so I mean, I definitely would recommend, you know, putting a pressure pad or something, like running something somewhere else around to manipulate the light. What else? That's kind of the gun. Another accessory that I haven't made use of because I haven't needed it. If you run this thing suppressed, which I hope to do sometime in the future, this gun is, well, it's forever been known as Tavor face. The Tavor face, Tavor face. And that was because the escaping gas pressure, this gas port here, because the gun is meant to be, you know, swappable from left side to right side. Well, whatever side you're shooting on, this port is going to be against your face, and it's not very well sealed, so a lot of the gas, you know, comes out the back and just blasts your face, right? So Manticore, again, made a sealed gas port, so you can toss that in there, which I would probably track down and do if I could when I start shooting suppressed, and that would be a good upgrade. That would, I think, definitely be well worthwhile. I think they also make a folding charging handle, which I'm a little bit interested in. I kind of want to check it, though. This thing is really just, this thing works fantastic. So I haven't really been super quick to want to change that out. The biggest thing that I would change, I think, besides the butt pad for overall comfort, is the trigger for shootability. This trigger by Geisley, well, the factory one, it kind of sucks. It's like 9 to 12 pound trigger. I think it's kind of 9, 10 around there. You can pull one of the springs out as kind of like a do-it-yourself hack to drop the weight down, but there are a number of aftermarket triggers. The triggers are dead simple to change out the packs anyways. This trigger bow by Geisley was a bit of a nightmare, but I got it done, and that was several years ago when I really knew very little about guns and tinkering and stuff. So that can be done, and again, the bow the lightning bow by Geisley, in addition to the super Sabra trigger pack, is just unbelievable. This thing as it is like 4.75 pound trigger pull, and then when you couple that with this with the lightning bow, it's got a flat wide surface, which just helps spread the weight out, which helps you feel even perceive a lower trigger pull. It's awesome. It's such a clean, smooth break. Like, just check this out. Minimal take up, and you can dial a lot of that out as well, and then boom, super crisp break. It's just, let's do a reset as well so you can see how lovely this thing is. Just for a bullpup, that is amazing. This is literally comparable to a lot of like single stage, or I guess you could call it a bit of a two-stage AR competition triggers that I have. So amazing. And again, keep your factory, because if you ever want to change it back, I would always recommend keeping your factory parts. But the trigger pack is super simple to swap out. Pop these two pins out, much like the takedown pin, and it's unbelievably simple. So that would be that. And then lastly, I added, also by, I believe, Manticore, is an Ambi safety. I basically this is the factory safety. I took this one off the front, put it on the back, and then I put their enlarged one. It's got a little wider profile paddle here, which is great. And I threw that on there. It's also metal, which is, I like metal appointments when I can get them. And that's the Tavor TAR-21, accessorizing it as I have done here. I'm going to leave you guys with that, except for the bonus gun. And if you didn't see me do the takedown video on that thing, the disassembly, the bonus gun I showed there was the G36K. I just got this thing in. We are clear. You see the empty chamber there. This thing just came in. Huge thanks to my buddy Gun Trifecta on Instagram. He helped me track this thing down and helped consolidate some parts to get this thing together. One of which is this cool brand new handguard by Tommy Built. This is his MP7 style handguard for the G36 family of rifles. This one is meant for the G36C, but it looks really cool on here. I kind of like how this exposed gas system kind of looks on the K. He makes a K model as well. This is a brand new accessory, literally just came out. And I'm going to actually start doing some gear reviews, I think, on my channel as well. I'm going to try and drop a weekly gear review in addition to the gun of the week and something entertaining, right? So I'm going to do a formal little blurb on this thing and look for the G36K in the next Gun of the Week series sometime in the next 2 to 3 months or so. All right, guys, thanks a ton. Arm&Gun out.